Easily enough, just like this, I will share my screen with you. It'll show the PowerPoint and the trivia slide questions. You'll all be able to communicate with your team in the breakout rooms, which I'll explain more towards the end of this PowerPoint. And again, you have that Google form, the link that I sent in the chat. I'll send it again before we get our game started in case you missed it. And that's what gets sent to me to grade at the end of the rounds. So as Megan mentioned, there's 3 rounds. So rounds 1 and 2 are going to look like this. Round 1 is topical in nature, relating to legal questions. And then round 2 is topical in scope with more legal questions, and they're all pertaining to IP. So you might be wondering what's with the pictures. In some of the slides, some of the questions are going to have photos attached to them. They're meant to relate to the answer in one way or another to give you hints. So, for example, if the question was the hit song Ice Ice Baby features a sample from what 1981 song, you would receive this picture clue. It'll be a lot bigger during the actual game, so don't worry if you can't see it. But what it is a picture of pressure building up under Augustus Gloop from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, because the answer is Under Pressure. Vanilla Ice sampled Under Pressure from David Bowie and Queen. Second example, Ed Gottlieb was the first coach and manager for what NBA team? I don't know much about basketball, so here is the picture clue. Again, it'll be much bigger during the PowerPoint, so don't worry if you can't see it. But this is a picture of the Warriors from the movie The Warriors, because Ed Gottlieb was the coach and manager for the Philadelphia Warriors. If you have a question about a picture clue, or if I feel like it might be a little bit murky, I'll do my best to help out. So we also got doubling. The first 2 rounds are worth 12 points each, with a special bonus question at the end of round 2. You can choose to double your score for one of the rounds. Again, only rounds 1 and 2 you can choose to double. It makes it worth up to 24 points. You have to decide that you want to double your answers before turning in your answer sheet. You can't do it retroactively, so you can't finish up round 2 and then say, hey, Amanda, can you double round 1? So you have to do it before. It's on the answer sheet where you would say, yes, I would like to double, or no, I don't want to double. The third and final round is going to be the speed round. It can't be doubled. So again, you can only double rounds 1 and 2. It's going to be 1 question with multiple answers, and you'll be given about 3 to 4 minutes to write down as many of those answers as you can. You'll be given a time limit to answer it, so you have to turn it in within 10 seconds of my timer ending. Otherwise, you will not receive credit for your team. And the way that the breakout rooms are going to be working, we've randomly assigned you into teams. And at the end, so you've been assigned a specific breakout room. You'll be transferred automatically by us to your team after we show the question rounds twice. So I'll play through the question rounds twice, and then you'll be put into your breakout room. The sessions will last about 4 minutes until you're transferred back into the main meeting. And then once you're back in the main meeting, I need the answer sheets submitted to me. So after we announce the accrued scores for round 2, you'll see the speed question individually. You'll see the speed question individually at the speed round, and then you'll be transferred into your respective breakout room for that time. And then you'll be returned to the main meeting after the 10-second countdown reaches 1 second, and then I'll show you the answers. Are there any questions before I get started? Because obviously the most important rule we have is to have fun.
Clear as mud.
All right. Hey, Amanda.
Yes.
So with the Google Forms, we need to designate one person to be sort of the person putting the answers in, and then they just submit the answers in the end?
Yes. I only need, like I said, I only need 1 answer sheet per team. So again, I'll set it out here again. Oh, is this the YouTube link for the Vanilla Ice documentary that was mentioned? Ah, okay. I might have to watch that later because I didn't know that he didn't think that he sampled it, even though. So yes. So like I said, I only need 1 answer sheet per team. But since we don't know who all is on our team yet, we can all keep track of our answers there. You can designate 1 person to be the answer submitter person, but I would recommend that everybody kind of keep track of the answers on the team in the event of something like Wi-Fi going out or things getting disconnected, because I have seen it happen before, just to have that backup. But yes, you can assign 1 person as like team captain, so to say, to send in those answers to me, and I will be grading them. So are there any other questions before I go ahead and get us started? Awesome. Smart bunch. So I'll send the link again one more time just in case you missed it. That is the Google form for round 1. It should automatically take you to each of the next round's forms at the end of it. But if for some reason it doesn't, please let me know and I'll send you the link to the next answer sheet rather than just reusing the sheet before, because then I don't get the answers all immediately and I would hate for you all not to get the credit that you worked so hard for. So I'll go ahead and get us started with round 1, our first round of some legal scope questions. So you say you're a lawyer. Number 1, it's multiple choice. What year was US patent number 1 issued? Was it issued in A, 1836, B, 1900, C, 1790, or D, 1863? Number 2, what was the copyright term for a work in the 1790 Copyright Act? And this is an example again of the picture clue. So if you're not sure, if you recognize the person in the photo, it might help you out. You'll be put into your breakout groups after we show all the questions twice, and then you'll be able to discuss with your groups then. So for the questions showing for the first 2 rounds, you'll see each of the questions twice through, and then we'll put you into your respective breakout rooms to discuss answers and get them submitted. Number 3, what comic strip character's dad was a patent lawyer? Regarding the questions in the breakout rooms, I'm not 100% sure if you'll be able to see them. I think there is a way, but I don't want to get any hopes up. I think Blake is going to be able to be the one. Yes, okay. So no, the questions will not be able to be displayed in the rooms, unfortunately. So number 4, I'll go back to number 3 here really quick, just so you can take another look at it. Because again, number 3, what comic strips character's dad was a patent lawyer? Number 4, Walter White has been advised in 2021 a method he has been using to produce methamphetamine for the past 2 years. Is Saul correct? A, no, because it is illegal to practice the invention described by the patent application. B, no, because Walter has been using this method for the past 2 years. C, yes. Oops, yes, because the subject matter of a patent is not required to be legal and Walter will be the first to file. Or D, no, because both A and B are true. I'll leave this up here because it is a little bit wordier, just so you all can take a look at it. You will see it again at least one more time. So can Walter White obtain a patent for the way he's been using to cook meth for the past 2 years? Number 5, what percentage of grapes in this bottle of wine have to be Chardonnay? A, 75%, B, 85%, C, 95%, or D, 100%? Number 6, the U.S. Tax and Trade Bureau allows winemakers some flexibility in labeling requirements since the final result of a particular vintage's harvest may not be known. In what range must the alcohol by volume amount be to comply with federal regulations for this table wine? A, 13 to 14.5%, B, 12.5 to 13.5%, C, 12% to 14%, or D, 11.5% to 14%. Number 7, what is required to label this whiskey as straight rye whiskey? A, it must be made from 100% rye. B, it must be aged in new charred American white oak barrels for at least 10 years. C, it must be stored in new charred oak containers with no additives added and for 2 years or more. Or D, it must be at least 100 proof. I'll go back. The inn has a designated sommelier. Fascinating. Does Ayla have one too? Number 8, what year was the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit created? A, 1982, B, 1985, C, 1990, and D, 1972. Remember, the picture clues are there to help you out if you need it. Number 9, which of these movies starring Joan Crawford was at issue in the 1940 Supreme Court case Sheldon v. Metro-Goldwyn Pictures on copyright damages? A, Letty Linton, B, Lady of the Night, C, Mannequin, D. Number 10, which country accounted for the most non-US trademark application filings as of 2019?
All right, as a redneck boy of the 80s, I appreciate this clue.
Oh, our question writers, we love some wrestling. Very often used for picture clues.
Warren, I'm going to have to know your redneck credentials, man.
Please. I mean, it's not Eton or Murray County, no, but you know, it's on the way up there.
You're all fired if you don't get this one. Not my words. I love I'm just enjoying some of the banter in the in the chat here.
All chat is recorded and will be sent to the E EC.
Oh, goodness. Number 11. What is the deadline for filing a trademark non-use expungement petition under the Trademark Modernization Act?
I thought these were IP questions.
Ouch. Ouch, Warren.
Joke. It's a joke.
And then number 10. Under Georgia law, Official Code of Georgia 40.14.8, law enforcement cannot make a speeding case against you based on a speed detection device like a radar gun if your speed only exceeds the posted speed limit by 10 miles or less. However, this law only applies in certain circumstances. Which one of the following is not an exception to 40.14a? In other words, which scenario below will it still apply? A, the law enforcement officer is a state patrol officer. B, the speeding occurred in a properly marked school zone during school hours. C, the speeding occurred in a properly marked historic district. D, the speeding occurred in a properly marked residential zone. Or E, the measured speed is over 70 miles per hour. So this is the 12th question, which is the final question of round 1. Like I said, you'll see all of these questions again one more time through before we put you into the breakout rooms. I'll be sure to monitor. It's obviously, we have it on a timer, but I'll be sure to keep tabs on the timer to make sure you have enough time to read through some of the longer questions, such as this one. I wish you all the best, and I'll check back here in just a moment. I have fought a speeding ticket before, but that's a story for later. Good luck. So, number one, the year that US patent number one was issued was A, 1836. Number two, 14 years was the copyright term for a work in the 1790 Copyright Act. Number three, the dad in Calvin and Hobbes was a patent lawyer. This is a photo of him now. Number three, the answer is B, no, because Walter has been using this method for the past 2 years. Yes, Pete Rose was number 14, which is why he was used for the picture clue for number 2. Oops. Number 5, the percentage of grapes in this bottle that have to be Chardonnay is A, 75%. Again, I am not an IP lawyer. I don't have any
Yeah, don't worry,
knowledge.
Amanda.
So if
I'll
something
handle
is
any of
so
the
if something
IP
is
questions.
incorrect,
Just send them to me.
yes, if something is incorrect, I'm afraid that I cannot.
It's almost like a whole bunch of these people want to argue about it.
Well, that one's right.
Bunch of lawyers arguing about stuff. I mean, what?
It wasn't the patent, it's patent number 1 as opposed to the first patent ever.
So number 6. Okay, so number 6, the answer is D, 11.5 to 14%. Number 7, the answer is number C. To label it as straight rye whiskey, it must be stored in new charred oak containers with no additives added for 2 or more years. Number 8, the correct answer is A, 1982. Number 9, the answer is A, Letty Linton. Number 10, the country that accounted for the most non-US trademark applications as of 2019 is China with 11%. I didn't need the percentage, I just needed the country, but if you knew the percentage of it, that's good for you. Number 11, the deadline for filing a trademark non-use expungement petition under the Trademark Modernization Act is 10 years after the registration date. This is a screenshot from 10 Things I Hate About You. So 10 years after the registration date is the deadline. And then the final question. The answer is E. The measured speed is over 70 miles per hour. So again, because my area of legal expertise does not lie with IP, copyright, or patent, I'm sure hopefully somebody can let me know what the decision is for US Patent 1.
So the answer is 1836, as many of you have commented in this active commenting box over here. The first patent ever 90, but they didn't number them until 1836. So you learned something new.
Number 1, what is the name of the 2008 feature film starring Greg Kinnear that takes its title from a 1941 Supreme Court case and chronicles the plight of an inventor and his battle with Detroit automakers over the assertion that the automakers stole his idea for an intermittent windshield wiper?
Hey, Amanda, do you have round 2 answer sheet?
I sent it in the chat, but if you need it again, I will send it here one more time.
Just did.
Oh, well, it looks like Warren beat me to it. So yes, that is the link to the answer sheet. If you would like it again, I'll send it to you here. Oh, I guess it got lost
Very
in
good.
some of the discussion. So if we all have it.
Yep.
Number 2, true or false? 2 movies can share the exact same title, even if the underlying story is very similar. Number 3, the producers of South Park were sued over an episode in which South Park character Butters Stotch records an internet video using part of a viral music video, I Said What in the Butt, to make money. South Park prevailed on relying on blank as a defense to the claim of infringement. Number 4, Thomas Edison is often credited with inventing and patenting this early motion picture device in 1889 that was designed to create the illusion of movement with film and quickly became the standard for all cinematic projection. Was it A, the Zoopraxiscope, B, Magic Lantern, C, Blu-ray, or D, the kinetoscope? You'll be in the same breakout room as you were before, because that is your team. Number 5, The Wizard of Oz is the first film to use a revolutionary color process that gave movies their highly saturated color. This process was best known by what famous trademark? A, Kinemacolor, B, Technicolor, C, 4K, or D, lithography? The slides are timed, so I am going based off of the timer. Number 6, within 10 years for 1 point, what year did the first woman receive a US patent in her own name? So again, you have a 10-year margin of error here to get the point. What year did the first woman receive a US patent in her own name? Number 7, under Copyright Law 17 of the US Code 119, transmissions of distant television programming by satellite is classified as what type of transmission? Number 8, on December 27th, 2021, the Trademark Modernization Act of 2020 goes into effect. One particular provision of the act is widely viewed as making it easier to obtain injunctions in federal court. What does the TMA do to make injunctions more likely? Number 9, Within 250,000, I'm sorry, I couldn't read that for a second. Within 250,000 for 1 point, as of July 2019, how many active trademark registrations appeared in the USPTO's trademark register? So again, the margin of error you have here is 250,000. How many active trademark registrations as of July 2019? Number 10, on October 13th, 2020, the Supreme Court granted cert in an IP-related case, Arthrex v. Smith and Nephew. What is the principal issue being resolved in that case? Number 11, on March 1st, 2021, Senator Tom Tillis, former Chief Judge Paul Mitchell, Michael, I'm so sorry, and former PTO Director David Kapos filed an amicus brief asking the Supreme Court to grant cert on American Axle v. NEPCO, saying that the court should ameliorate the chaos related to what area of IP law? And then number 12, true or false? A person that provides alcohol at their home for social functions and does not sell it is subject to the same dram shop liability as bars and restaurants. And this is for Georgia dram shop laws. There is a bonus question for this round. So there's not a space on the answer sheet for bonus, but what I will ask you to do is have one person from each team send me in the chat privately your team name and your answer, just so I can keep track of that there. The bonus question for this round. What's the name of the former Federal Circuit Chief Judge Randall Rader's band? So if you get that, you get some bonus points on this round.
Let me send that to Amanda, who's listed as a co-host in the chat.
Send that to me privately with your team name. So please don't forget your team name to make sure I can get you the points. But just like before, you'll see all the questions here again. It'll go by quickly. You'll get some extra time in your breakout rooms to discuss the answers. Yeah, good luck.
Has the 6 minutes started yet? I hope not.
We go
So-
through
no,
each one of the
So
questions.
you'll see
Oh,
all the
got it.
questions
Yeah.
again one more time, and then we'll send you to your breakout rooms. So I won't show the questions for as long as I did in the first round, but just so you can have a refresher on what is coming.
Yeah, take a picture if you want to take a picture. Leave them up for about 5-10 seconds.
Yeah, I would suggest we move much faster through the questions.
Oops.
Good.
Thank
Okay.
you.
No problem. So here are the answers. Number 1, it is The Flash of Genius. This is a screenshot from the Albert Einstein television show Genius. So that was our thought process with the picture clue. Number 2, this is true because typically copyright and trademark law does not protect movie titles. It's different if it's a movie or a book series like The Godfather, but typically movie titles are not protected. Number 3, the defense used by South Park is the fair use. This is a fair machine. It's the Metra fair machine. Again, we are a Chicago-based trivia company. So that is one of our trains fairs systems. Number 4, this is a photo of a kinetoscope. You would like peek into the top of the box and you'd be able to watch your film there. Number 5, The Wizard of Oz is the first film that used Technicolor. Number 6, the first patent received by a woman in her own name was in 1809. So again, you get a 10-year margin of error for that to get 1 point. So I'll be able to do the math there and give you your credit based off of that. Number 7, this is secondary transmission. Number 8, this is a photo of the infamous butt fumble because the answer is it creates a rebuttal. Presumption of irreparable harm for trademark infringement. A rebuttal presumption. The butt fumble from the Jets versus the Patriots. This is referring to HR 6196. Number 9, again, you're within 250,000 for 1 point. There are 2.4 million active trademark registrations as of July 2019. So again, I'll do the math there to give you your point, as long as you are within 250,000 of 2.4 million. Number 10, the principal issue being resolved is whether administrative patent judges at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office were properly appointed. This is a child in a judge's uniform. Number 11, I have patent eligibility law, but you will also receive credit for Section 101 law, Allison Mayo cases, or the Bilski case. So there's multiple answers that will be allowed for that one. So if you didn't put patent eligibility, as long as you mentioned Section 101 law, Allison Mayo cases, or the Bilski case, you're golden. Number 12, it is true. You are subject to the same Georgia Dram Shop liability as bars and restaurants if you provide alcohol at your home for a social function. And then for that bonus, the band is called De Novo. So you'll get your bonus points for that. So again, 1 question, multiple answers, maximum of 30. Again, I'm going to say it again. You can only write up to 30 answers. I will not count past number 30. You'll get 3 points for every correct answer. No penalty for wrong answers. 5-point bonus if you have no wrong answer. And it has to be turned in by the time you're sent back into the main room from your breakout rooms. So tonight's speed round question, for 3 points each, name each of the 9 classes of courts currently identified by the Georgia Judicial Council and Administrative Office of the courts, including the Georgia Appellate Courts. As IP attorneys, most of you practice in the federal courts or agencies. However, most of you are fully barred in the state of Georgia. So again, name each of the 9 classes of courts currently identified by the Georgia Judicial Council and Administrative Office. You'll get 3 points for each answer that you get correct. So we will put you in your breakout rooms and you will be timed, and the time is a be all end all. So I wish you all the best and good luck for our final round.